Welcome to CBR. Beast is one of the most important X-Men characters, with a long history of interesting developments and retcons through the decades. Today, we are deep diving into 10 little-known facts about Beast from Marvel Comics film and television adaptations. Everybody knows Beast is a mutant and an important member of the X-Men, but how exactly his DNA was mutated is a mystery to part of the fandom, with most fans not realizing Hank's case is not like every other mutant. Beast first appeared in Marvel Comics in 1963 as a mutant superhero. Henry McCoy, or Hank as his friends and family call him, was born to Norton and Edna McCoy. Norton worked at a nuclear power plant, and his parents suffered from a genetic mutation during this time due to radiation exposure. Yet neither felt any symptom or sign of mutation ever. It was only clear they had gone through genetic mutation when their baby was born different. This is the explanation early comics give to Hank's abilities. At the time, he was not the furry blue-haired man he became later. His birth mutation only gave Hank superhuman intelligence and unusually big arms, legs, hands, and feet. His enhanced body has allowed Hank to climb walls and buildings from the outside with ease, play sports better than anyone, and much more. His strength, agility, and endurance are all consequences of this mutation from birth. His birth mutation has often been described to be evolutionary in nature, making him one of the first mutants to manifest powers early in life, long before reaching puberty, which is an incredibly rare trait in mutants. While casual fans may think Beast has always had the blue-haired look, that's not true. Before going through his second mutation in Marvel Comics, he looked much more like a non-mutant, except for his enlarged body parts. He still had human-looking skin, hair, and everything else. However, his appearance changed after an extreme event. After attending Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, Hank starts working as a genetic researcher for the Brand Corporation. There, he meets Dr. Carl Maddox and realizes the scientist is trying to steal top-secret documents from the government. In parallel, Hank accidentally discovers a hormonal extract that can cause genetic mutation. He was working on a cure for mutations, but inadvertently found something else. Worried that Maddox would soon steal it and use it for questionable ends, Hank feels forced to inject himself with the substance sample he had. Hank is featured in his furry form in Marvel Comics for the first time after taking the extract. This second mutation in his body gives him even more strength and agility, but also turns his body into an animal-looking hybrid. At first, he can shapeshift into and out of this new look, but soon, he realizes that he is losing the ability to return to his original form the longer he stays in the new one. This dramatic shift, and his difficulty with dealing with it, is a recurring theme in Beast's journey, as he slowly learns to accept the change as permanent. Over the years, Beast's mutation has continued to evolve, with different artists and writers retconning his appearance. He has been depicted as more cat-like in certain runs, while in others he looks more like a gorilla. His fur has also changed color, from blue to gray, and even black in some storylines. Some fans like to consider that his appearance itself continues to morph throughout time, since his second mutation comes from an unstable artificial substance. Beast is clearly the genius scientist of the X-Men, having that as one of his main traits since his debut in comics. But did you know he is actually one of the 8 smartest people in the world? Hank is a renowned biochemist who concluded 6 different PhDs. He has tons of knowledge in many fields, including mutant genetics, evolutionary biology, and nanotechnology. His intelligence is comparable to that of characters like Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, and Hank Pym. One of his most impressive characteristics is that he's a polyglot. He speaks Russian, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Arabic, and Latin. Among the countless accomplishments in his curriculum, Beast has designed some of the X-Men's most important technology, including the Danger Room's upgrades, time machines, and teleportation devices. Hank McCoy and Simon Williams share one of Marvel's strongest and longest-lasting bromances. Could this be explored further in the MCU? Beast was introduced in the Marvels, and Simon Williams has his own series coming to Disney+. Their friendship started when they were both in the Avengers together, with their first encounter happening when Hank joins the team. There is a buddy comedy dynamic between them, and the duo soon became the comic relief in the action-filled Avengers stories. But even after both of them left the Avengers, they remained best friends. When Simon went to Los Angeles and founded the West Coast Avengers in the 1980s, Beast would make guest appearances in those comics. He also often appeared in the Wonder Man solo series from the 1990s. And they even got their own spin-off comic series in 2000, Avengers 2, Wonder Man, and Beast, that shows how important Hank is in Simon's adaptation back to life after being resurrected by the Scarlet Witch. Their friendship has endured even the darkest of times, including Beast's recent moral decline, which we will discuss more later in the video. Despite Hank's questionable decisions as he becomes a villain, Simon has always tried to remind Hank of the good person he used to be, making their bond one of the most meaningful in Marvel history. With Simon Williams set to debut in the MCU in Wonder Man in December 2025, this iconic friendship could possibly be brought to the MCU as well, especially since the X-Men will be joining the MCU. While MCU Beast's path is currently unknown, a friendship with Simon could help guide the character to a possibly better fate than his current fate in Marvel Comics. With reporter Trish Tilby being Hank's love interest in X-Men 97, she may be the only character that comes to mind who has a romance with the Beast. But he lived another romance with the Dazzler a few years before he and Trish fell in love in Marvel Comics. In the 4-issue Marvel Comics miniseries, Beauty and the Beast from 1984, written by Ann Nocenti with art by Don Perlin, Hank and Allison Blair share a passionate yet brief relationship. In case you don't know or don't remember, Allison Blair, or Dazzler, is a mutant with light-based powers who is a singer and dancer, combining both talents to make great performances. Beauty and the Beast follows the couple in a complicated time. Dazzler was struggling with both her career and personal life, feeling depressed over the hate she was getting from the public due to her condition as a mutant. In parallel, Beast was also handling his struggle to accept his mutant form. Beast takes time off from the Defenders team to visit his friends Simon Williams and Dazzler in Los Angeles. Beast is particularly worried about Dazzler because it was recently revealed to the world that she is a mutant. She gets involved with the cunning Alexander Flynn. Flynn is allegedly the son of Dr. Doom, but the dictator refused to claim him and exiled him and his mother. The series tells how Beast and Dazzler fall in love while freeing themselves and other mutants from Flynn's gladiator ring, while the villain plots to overthrow Doom and take over power in Latveria. However, when it was all over, Allie realized she needed some time by herself to figure out who she really was. Hank understood, and they parted ways. Although it only lasted 4 issues, the Beauty and the Beast of Marvel lived a great romance. Over the years, Dazzler and Beast have remained friends, occasionally teaming up in mutant-related conflicts. While their romance didn't last, their respect for each other did. It's no secret that comic book characters often die and come back to life, or their stories are retconned, so they are no longer dead. But if you don't read Marvel Comics regularly, you probably don't know Beast just died and was replaced by a clone in 2024. After the mutants were reunited by Professor Xavier and Krakoa, Beast played an important role in the making of the Krakoan civilization. However, he became authoritarian to guarantee the Krakoan sovereignty, forcing his friends to intervene. X-Force tried using one of his clones to stop him, but the clone escaped and looked for Wonder Man to help him. The original Beast and his clone get into a fight, and he tries to end his clone's life. As Wolverine gets involved and tries to kill Beast, the chaos escalates, and suddenly Wonder Man finds himself in front of the black hole gun as it is about to shoot straight at him. Reminded of who he really is deep down, Beast instinctively decides to sacrifice himself to save his best friend's life and jumps in front of the blast. With Hank dead, his Krakoan clone takes his place in the X-Men, but that is not an easy replacement. Hank had been extremely important to the team for a long time, and his clone was not a perfect copy of him, for better and for worse. As time passes, the clone may begin to question his own identity. It is possible that soon, Beast's Krakoan duplicate will look for a way to resurrect the original Beast and embrace a new identity for himself. But for now, the original Beast is dead. The Hank McCoy from the dystopian world of Earth 295 is known as the Dark Beast, who first appeared in comics in 1995. In this reality, Professor Charles Xavier died before founding the X-Men, which indirectly allowed Apocalypse to take over the world. As a result, the Earth 295 version of Hank McCoy takes a very different path from his 616 counterpart. Instead of a noble scientist and an X-Men, he aligns himself with Apocalypse and becomes a key figure in his quest for power. He works with Mr. Sinister to create an army of powerful mutants, known as Apocalypse's Army of Infinites. In that world, he is known as the Beast because he is so sadistic. He is a beast to his test subjects. One day, Dark Beast crosses over to Earth 616, the main timeline, and infiltrates the X-Men. He kidnaps 616's Beast and poses as him. While disguised as Beast, he manipulates mutant genetics, alters experiments, and subtly influences the X-Men's scientific pursuits for his own benefit. He is eventually exposed, leading to a battle where Dark Beast flees. Norman Osborn, in the Dark Reign arc, acting as leader of the corrupt law enforcement agency Hammer, assembles his own team of X-Men. They become known as the Dark X-Men, and Dark Beast is recruited as their scientific mastermind. Dark Beast creates the Omega Machine, which is designed to remove a mutant's powers. This machine becomes a significant threat to mutants, particularly in the context of Osborn's larger plan to control the mutant population. He was ultimately killed in battle by Wolverine and Warpath during the Dark Reign story arc, though versions of him have returned through multiversal stories, cloning plot points and retcons. Beast joined the secretive Illuminati, the secret group of the world's most powerful intellects, revealing that Xavier had entrusted Beast with knowledge of their secret activities and identities. The group, which included Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Reed Richards, Namor, Iron Man, and Black Bolt, was responsible for handling threats too dangerous for the world to know about, such as imminent incursions. Beast soon found himself complicit in wiping out entire alternate Earths to protect his own, furthering his descent into moral ambiguity that marked his final days in Marvel Comics. This arc cemented Beast as a far more pragmatic and ethically compromised character than before, alienating him from many of his former friends. This arc solidified Beast's transformation into a far more complex and ethically conflicted character, one who would do whatever it took to protect Earth, even if it meant sacrificing his principles and the lives of countless innocents. His involvement with the Illuminati and the moral compromises that came with it fundamentally altered his role within the Marvel Universe. Before Kelsey Grammer brought Beast to life in X-Men and Nicholas Hoult brought Beast to the X-Men First Class timeline, he was actually set to have a big role in the very first X-Men movie way back in the year 2000. Early drafts of the script included Hank McCoy as a key character, and actor Steve Bakich was cast for the role. However, changes were eventually made to the story, and Bakich only played Dr. Hank McCoy in X2, X-Men United during a TV interview scene. Beast's role was cut due to budget constraints, since his blue fur and physical transformation would have required expensive CGI or heavy prosthetics. X-Men was already going above and beyond in terms of budget. With its star-studded ensemble cast and visual spectacle, the production team ultimately decided that the cost of creating Beast in the way they envisioned, appearing throughout the entire first film, would be too much of an investment in special effects. This version of Hank McCoy, seen in X2, who was still portrayed as a normal human, like he was in early 1960s Marvel Comics, did not yet reflect the full transformation into his iconic blue furry form, which would later appear in the following movie adaptations. The last time we saw Beast in movies was when the character appeared in the post-credits scene of the 2023 movie The Marvels, where Monica Rambeau travels through the multiverse to an alternate reality. In that scene, Beast is once again portrayed by Kelsey Grammer, the actor who first played the role in the 2006 movie X-Men: The Last Stand. Since the fans' positive reception to that post-credits scene, Grammer has expressed interest in joining the MCU full-time. But what is even more important is that the actor has also revealed that Marvel Studios has mentioned to him that possibility. Although he only went as far as saying they are having talks about it, fans are more certain than ever that a mutant saga is coming next in the franchise. With the current multiverse saga exploring characters from different timelines and universes, the inclusion of actors like Grammer, who have previously portrayed iconic X-Men characters in other franchises, feels like a natural progression for the MCU. However, just how the X-Men will be incorporated into the MCU still remains to be seen. Kelsey Grammer already laid the groundwork with his appearance in The Marvels, but the Russo brothers may have even more multiversal shenanigans in store for fans, including possibly a debut for the Dark Beast in the MCU as well. Naturally, the actor's comment also sparks the debate of whether all the X-Men characters in the MCU will be played by familiar faces, who have played them before. For now, we will have to patiently wait a couple of years more to find that out. In the meantime, we can rewatch the best previous X-Men movies and keep up with X-Men 97. These were the 10 facts about Beast we wanted to discuss today. Did you already know some of them, or were they all surprising for you? And what are your expectations for the character in the future, in comics and the MCU? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.